All right. So, hi everyone. This is Alejandro Flori. I am a certified fitness and nutrition coach. For those of you that don't know me yet, my company is called Altus Fitness, and I am very, very excited and honored to do our first ever client spotlight with Joshua Watson. Okay. So, hey Josh, how are you?
I am good, Alejandro. Nice to see you.
All right, so we are in a different environment, well, different setting. I mean, this is basically the same link that we go on live just to make things happen, at least for the time being, for as long as there's like the lockdown and things. But I would like to, I am very excited. So thank you for accepting the invitation to do this recording. I would like to, this is all about you. This is all about the spotlight. And I want people to learn about you, to learn about your motivation, and to learn, about basically what your goals are for you to be training with me. And I want you to use this as an open forum for you to talk about the things that you consider important, and for the audience that is actually going to be viewing this. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Alrighty, Josh. So tell us who you are.
My name is Joshua Watson. I am a entrepreneur. I run a business for myself. I'm self-employed as a virtual assistant. So I help people with anything that is taking up too much of their time, uh, whether it be anything from managing social media, managing their inbox, their calendar, updating their CRM, updating QuickBooks or FreshBooks or whatever accounting software they might be using, organizing their receipts so that they know what they've spent. Little things that we as entrepreneurs tend to forget that we need to do. Either they take too much time or we just don't enjoy them. That's where I'm here to help. I come in and I'm an extra set of hands for you as a business owner. Uh, Now, in terms of you and I am a para athlete. I compete in para ice hockey as well as para athletics, particularly in the disciplines of shot put, javelin, and discus. And
Amazing. So
for those that haven't seen it, there are actually those and pictures on my Facebook and my Instagram that how I do that.
great. So yes, the first thing that I would like to invite is for people to actually go and visit, like Joshua, as you heard, he's an entrepreneur. He's a virtual assistant. So he's pretty well versed in what like social media management is. So I would like for you to just witness, firsthand. So what he does, because it's pretty fascinating. I mean, the first time that it's just I have worked with some other athletes in the past, but like we started talking about like the training, if I recall well, and then you sent a couple of the videos my way, and then like, okay, I it was completely unexpected, and it was actually, to be honest with you, it was pretty exciting, right? To see, like, it was pretty baffling because that was a discipline that I didn't know or understand myself. So I think it's a great thing that you like gave me the opportunity to get a little more involved with that. And as I said before, it's a pleasure, and it's a privilege. Now, tell me a little bit more about. We're gonna go, if you don't mind, we're going to go a little bit more in depth about you and your business and who your ideal client is and all that stuff. And then we're going to go more in depth into what the athletic part of things is. Is that okay?
Sure, absolutely.
Wonderful. So tell me now, there is a wide variety or scope of things that you can do, that you can help people relieve from their daily admin, load. Now, having said that, though, tell me more toward your avatar. So what kind of person is more like the person that you're looking after, or what are the things or the features that you offer that you enjoy the most, so that client can actually find you?
Sure. I, at the end of the day, enjoy helping. That's why I got into this business. I was laid off from a company back in 2015, shall remain nameless by choice, and basically met someone at an entrepreneur's event. And we got to talking. She found out that I was between jobs and wanted to know, well, what do you want to do? how can I support you? Can I help you find work and whatever? And so I basically talked to her about what I know how to do. And she said, I think you'd make a great virtual assistant. And I looked at her and said, what's that? So she explained. And I figured I could always find another job, but I was tired of being told what I was good at. Because corporate Canada is very good at telling you what you need to fix, but not so good at telling you what you're good at.
Yeah.
So I started my business in 2015, and my goal is to help a solopreneur or a small company of 1 to 5, maybe 10 employees, and just to help out where my expertise is best. So, for example, this morning, 2 of my clients that I've worked on are an Ayurveda school, helping them by doing some video editing for some courses that they're having to do online because they can't meet in person. Mm-hmm. So I update and edit their videos and then put them up on their YouTube page for them. One area that I can certainly help. I find that interesting and engaging because as I'm editing the video, I'm learning something too. Of course. I also have a customer who is an architect downtown, and I help him with his social media. I was hired to manage it, but then once COVID hit, he needed to reallocate some of his human resources. And so he asked if I would train a couple of his staff members to do the social media and act more as a liaison or a coach or consultant, something of that nature. And so that's fascinating too, because I'm doing some posting and some writing. More often than not, I'm having conversations with them and just talking to them about what we can do to make their social media better and what things they might want to consider. Today we had a meeting and we discussed Facebook ads. They're trying to drive traffic to their seminar series that they're doing online, and they're not getting the reach that they wanted. So we discussed that. So it all depends on the individual entrepreneur. What I like to do is I like to sit down with a prospect, usually after a networking event, because that's where I meet a lot of my prospects. And we'll either have a physical coffee or a virtual coffee, like you and I are doing now.
Yeah.
And my first question to them is always, what do you love to do in your business? And what do you hate to do in your business? Because if there's something you hate, then it's something that you're not going to do, or you're going to put off till the last minute, and it's going to stress you out. And that's just not healthy for anybody.
Ask me how I know.
Exactly. So I usually take their lead and find out what they love and what they hate. And then I say to them, okay, if I could manage your box of receipts for you so that it's organized and put into
a spreadsheet
for you, broken down by month or however you would like it, would that help you? If I managed your social media for you so that you don't have to go into Facebook and lose half a day because you start posting something and then get distracted, would that help you?
Ask me how I know. Wow. So that's remarkable. And those are certainly very, very appealing services that you offer, because the way I see it, and this is relevant to entrepreneurs like ourselves, but it's also, or more so for business people, because like if you're if you are watching this and you don't understand, maybe if you are like an employee or you work in a different environment, you don't understand the power and the leverage that you can create by using social media for business. Social media is very much fun just to see what's happening out there, but it's an outstanding marketing and business tool in general, right? So would you agree with that, Josh?
I'm good with that. The only thing I would say is don't necessarily expect to drive business from it unless you're selling something. Mm-hmm. Some people think that if they put up a Facebook page, that automatically customers are going to be driven to them. That's not the case.
Agreed.
Someone once described it to me as putting a billboard in the desert.
Okay.
People are going to find it, but they're not necessarily going to you.
Right.
So if that's your sole purpose of lead generation from it, that might not be the best thing. But
Yeah.
you can be very sure that if you don't have something, someone that you meet on the street and says, "What do you do?" is immediately going to go home and Google you. And if you
Right.
do not come up, then they're going to think, "Well, what kind of business is this?" They're not even on Google.
Gotcha. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's exactly that, like the same experience that I've had. And I was told, it's funny because I was told something similar. Like the expression was more like having a website is having a sign on the lawn. So even if you
Yeah,
have traffic going through, and well, I'm experiencing that right now. So I have lots of eyes on my website, but that doesn't mean like, oh yeah, there's Weedman. There's Weedman there. Unless you need the Weedman, like weeding your lawn, no one's gonna call, right? So it's
exactly.
it's different as opposed to what you're talking about right now in regards to Facebook ads, where you're like, okay, now I'm catering exactly. I'm going to whatever. In your case, going to like business meets or going to BNIs or meetups or whatever it is. Like it's just like catering to the people that will need your services for sure. And then there is like a higher kind of like return on your effort, if not investment. Is that okay?
Right.
I mean, is that something like,
Absolutely.
yeah, sounds good.
Absolutely. I agree.
Now, yeah. So would you like to add anything more to that?
Um, I don't think so. Those are the areas that tend to be the most popular because they're the things that take the longest. And they're often the things that people don't have an understanding of. I will often get a customer who will come to me and they'll say, I know I need to do social media, but which one and how? And it's overwhelming and I don't want to do it. And you do it for me.
Certainly.
No problem. You can do that.
Good. That's great. I mean, that is a very, very appealing service once again. Just because again, if you have experienced it yourself and knowing what to do, where to start, and how to optimize your resources, because when you start talking like Google Ads or Facebook ads, then we're talking a completely different ballpark, and that's something that you need some coaching on, right?
Right. Absolutely.
All right. So I'd like for you to briefly, excuse me, briefly describe like how did we meet? I mean, how did we, cross paths? And so go ahead, please.
Well, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong about this, but
Okay.
I joined, well, let's backtrack a little bit. I was
Yeah.
at an event and happened to meet a good friend of ours, Teresa Martin Greer,
Yeah.
and she found out what I do and she wanted to know more about me, so she set up a coffee. So we met, we had a coffee, and she told me about this group that she was running, which was awesome. I was always looking for a chance to market and to network. So I showed up at Brown Social House one morning at 8:30 in the morning and looked around thinking, okay, is this place even open?
Hmm.
Made my way inside and there everybody was. And you happened to be one of the members that was there that day. And so got a chance to go around the table and I found out what everybody did, what you do. And I knew one other member at the time, Dr. Anita,
Hmm.
who
Right.
does some of my chiropractic work for me. She's very good. And yeah, we chatted and told you a bit about my sports and what I do and how I was frustrated with my performance and this was harder than it needed to be. And we started a dialogue.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I remember, and I agree 100% with what you just said. That's basically how it all started. So, and I would like to use this as a segue to two things. One of them is I would like for you to be um, just to explain a little bit about what you do. I mean, as an athlete, I mean, because people, I myself being in the fitness industry, there are so many things or so many disciplines that I don't know. And as I said, I was fascinated to learn more about yours and to even just go to the meets and go to your practice and just to see you do what you do so I can better help you for one. But and this is my own opinion, of course. But I think
Of course.
that people, by not knowing, may be missing out on things that can be interesting, appealing. You know, you never know, right? So you don't know what you don't know. So tell us a little more about your sport.
Sure. So again, I'm in two different types of sport, a summer sport and a winter sport. My winter sport, honestly, is more of a recreational, keep me busy while it's snowing kind of a thing. It's called para ice hockey, or most people call it sledge hockey. And so basically, the best way I can describe it is it's like playing hockey on a toboggan. So
Okay.
basically, you have a device called a sledge, and it's similar to a toboggan. You sit in it with your legs out in front of you, and it's got two skate blades on the bottom of it, and they're anywhere from a few inches apart to 1 inch apart. And the closer in you get, the more agile you can be, but well, you are as well.
Right.
It's much easier to fall over and to be knocked over if your blades are very close together.
Okay.
Gone from being a winger in that sport to now being a goaltender. Uh, so it's a position that I love because you're on the ice the entire time and you're the last line of defense.
Okay. Wow.
So
Cool.
I like that responsibility. I really do. And
Wow.
it's just a lot of fun. You're constantly in the action when the action's at your end.
Amazing.
So that's my winter sport. And then my summer sport is athletics. It's track and field. So most people, when they think of track and field for folks with disabilities, they think of wheelchair racing. That's the automatic. That's the one that gets the airplay.
Okay.
It's the one that's the most exciting. It's the fastest. It's the most technical, in some people's opinion. I don't happen to agree, but in some people's opinion, when you get into the longer races. But there is actually a throwing side to athletics as well, and that's the side I happen to be on. And that came about innocently enough. I had joined my club for sports and played hockey over the winter. And then it came springtime, and I said to the track coach, who was the person I knew before joining the club, I said, okay, so how do I sign up for track? And he said, Josh, you're a great guy, but I don't have a wheelchair big enough for you.
Okay. Was that Coach Ken?
Not Coach Ken that you've met. That was another Coach Ken.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yes. Because it sounds like for what little I met him or I know him, like it sounds like as blunt as the current Coach Ken. You know, he's
yes.
He's certainly not like he's not very soft. He's not condescending at all. Like he's the guy. He's like, hey, what's your problem? I mean, do you think you're here to waste your time or to get busy?
Exactly. Okay. And I love that about my coach. I really do. He's my coach for hockey and for track and field. So
oh wow, I didn't know that.
We joke that we can't get rid of each other.
Okay.
But yes, he is very blunt, but he's also very realistic. He will help you if you put in the effort.
Amazing.
But if you're not going to put in the effort, neither is he.
Yeah.
I respect that about him.
Do you like tough love? Huh?
We've had many conversations along those lines about when you put time into yourself, then I will put time in.
Fair enough.
And I respect that. Like I said, it's not always easy to hear. I respect that about him. But that was kind of my introduction to the club. Okay. So having been told, track isn't for you, basically, I had mentioned this to my coach, Coach Ken, and he said, well, why don't you come and throw? And I looked at him and like, how am I going to do that? Just come out, I'll show you.
Yeah.
So I had done shot put when I was younger. I was preteen and teenager back in high school. I knew shot put was an option, but when he told me I could throw the javelin and the discus, I was very confused. Like, you have to run and spin for those. How am I going to do that? And so he showed me how it works and showed me the throwing chair, as we call it, or the throwing frame. And so it's this device that's bolted into the ground. It's almost like sitting on top of a table with a footrest on it. And you get belted down to it. And there's a handle off to, in my case, my left, that I hold on to, which allows me to rock forward and back, which mimics the use of the legs. and then I throw with my right hand. And I've been doing it since 2005 with varying degrees of success. Uh, Made it to national championships for the first time in 2013 and have been able to compete at national championships ever since. Our last national championship that was held was in Montreal in summer of 2018.
Nice.
It was very exciting. It was my first time in Quebec, so
Great.
I enjoyed it immensely. But my progression has stalled, to be quite honest. And so I knew going into what we've been all dealing with, this pandemic, that I needed to take some time and do something for me to improve. And so I had been in a gym member for a couple of years, and it's a great gym, very nice. But I just found that after injuring myself, taking a couple of weeks, quote unquote, off, which turned into a year, that basically, as much as I like the gym isn't for me. What I need is I need the accountability. I need somebody who I have an appointment with, who's going to show up and who's going to say, okay, need to do this or not?
We're getting it done.
And so I thought about it and I'm like, okay, who can I ask? Who can I ask? And then I remember our conversations. That's Absolutely. It. That's who I can ask. And I know he does virtual consultations. So we chatted and we set one up, and I'm very excited to be moving towards bigger goals.
Amazing. And just if I may add, I mean, part of what I do, and this is the one thing that gets me excited about helping people, is I do see the potential, right? So when I see the focus and I see the determination of people, I know how far they can get. And that's basically all I do is I become a facilitator. And a good part of what it is, and like you having the types of achievements that you have already, that, you know, like the level at which you've competed before, I think it feels a little, you know, with the right help, I do believe, and this is my own experience with my own thing. I was just talking to a coach of my own earlier on, that can help you get to the next level. And that's basically the way I see it. And there's nothing more. I mean, this is about like the beauty of this interaction is I see what you can do, you know what you're capable of right now, but it's for you or for me in this case, it's either way for people to get to the next level at whatever it is. I mean, whether it is entrepreneurship or whatever, income, or it is athletic performance or relationships sometimes, right? So it does take a little bit of, okay, so let me just step out and see things differently, to see or bring someone that will allow me to develop that full potential. So I'm a big believer in that myself, so much so that, as I just confessed, like I have had coaches, and I am in the process right now of hiring a new coach just for me to be able to help more people more often. So so that is always very exciting. So I do my best to transfer what I have learned and what I learn on a daily basis to my clients, so my clients can more easily, one, visualize that full potential and ultimately realize the full potential. So it's exciting. I mean, and we have a commitment to get your game to the next level, and we're going to do whatever it takes to for that to happen. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Now, I wanted to, in closing, I wanted to ask you something, a couple questions. Do you find that your sport gets the attention and support it deserves? I mean, I'm talking about both, like Canada being like a hockey crazy sport for hockey and for track and field. Do you think it has the you know, like the spotlight or the attention that it deserves?
I would say it's growing, but not fast enough. A lot of people have heard of sledge hockey because of the Vancouver Olympics.
Nice.
and they remember TSN showing the gold medal game. And that's always very exciting for people. And it pops up here and there. People will see it on TV, and they'll go, "Oh, that's a really cool sport," but they don't necessarily know that it exists in the community.
Right.
Those players didn't develop in a vacuum. There's a whole league that I participate in that is varying levels. There's championship caliber level, like guys who play on the national team, all the way down to guys who just want to come out for a skate. And I've traveled as far north as Sudbury and as far south as Windsor to play hockey.
Cool.
So it's there. It's a matter of looking in your community and seeing what exists. And oftentimes those organizations, as you well know, because I've you in a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
they often need volunteers. They need help because they can't operate by themselves. Help with either coaching, or they need help with people who are trained and can act as trainers on the bench. They need referees, they need scorekeepers, they need whatever they need. Sometimes they need people to help get people on and off the ice because not every athlete can do it.
Right.
Track and field is very similar. We need officials who can officiate the events. We need volunteers who can retrieve implements for us during practices, because once we're strapped down, we can't go out into the field and retrieve our shot put after we throw it.
Yeah.
Just not an option. We also need people who can sometimes get people to practices. Sometimes that's an issue for people, depending on where they live. I know a lady who lives in downtown Toronto, and she commutes to Brampton every Tuesday and Thursday during the summer because she's that committed to her sport.
Wow, amazing.
And because she takes paratransit, it takes her hours both ways to get there. It can take her an entire day just to go to practice.
Wow, that's real commitment, huh?
And it certainly is. It's kind of embarrassing that I might not be that committed if I was in that situation, but she is, and I commend her for it. She also happens to be one of our older athletes, but we won't go there.
Now, let me ask you a couple more things, and then we'll wrap it up.
Sure.
What do you think, like the athletic fan base, could do better for your sport or for pad athletes, and what could the common public do differently? I mean, what could be a good initiative? I mean, what do you think, like the perception of the common public and the fan base, like the athletic fan base, could be doing differently?
A lot of the people that I convinced to come out and watch these sports are impressed by the caliber of them. Some people think of disabled sport and they think of it kind of as an also. Oh, that's so nice, and look at them go. You come out and watch a sledge hockey game, it's just as intense as a stand-up hockey game, as we would call it. It's just as exciting. It might even be a little harder hitting at times.
Okay.
But it's a lot of fun. It's a great way to spend a couple of hours.
Amazing.
And so when you see it on TV, tweet about it, post it on Facebook. Like, I just saw this great game between Canada and the US, and it was disabled people. Just
Wow.
Get it known out there so that these companies, these media outlets, give it more airplay, because they don't see it bringing eyeballs, so they don't want to deal with it.
I understand.
So that's the biggest thing, is just when it comes on, check it out.
I know,
because I think you're going to be impressed. Like, the day you see somebody who's legally blind run a mile race,
mm-hmm.
other people who are blind, that's pretty darn impressive.
It is.
And I mean, the other thing is, and the thing I respect most about my coach, just circling back to him for a minute, is how he treats his athletes. He treats them as athletes.
That's right.
We're not athletes with disabilities. We are athletes. And he expects us to train,
To perform,
and to eat, and to work as hard as an athlete does.
absolutely.
And we are very lucky in our club that we have athletes that have competed at multiple Paralympics.
That is
And
pretty
they're some of the
amazing.
most humble people you'll ever meet.
I have actually met quite a few of them. Remember, I actually gave you when I went for like to that meet that you weren't able to attend, and
Yes.
I even came back with like a little bit of a dossier, so because like I saw some of the athletes, and my jaw dropped. I mean, it's if people have never seen para-athletes perform, I think people may be missing out. I really do, because it's and these people are, they're hard, they're toned, they're muscular, they have great endurance, they have like amazing determination, and they have amazing skills. So I do agree with you. If people out there may have like the wrong idea or the wrong impression of what a sport like that, both sports actually, maybe like, just because they differ from what is more mainstream, but that doesn't make them any less exciting.
Right. And I would also say, be open to being inspired by these athletes, but be careful about the wording you use.
Yeah.
Because absolutely. There's a lot of media attention surrounding inspiration. And I'm flattered if somebody tells me that I inspire them, but be inspired because I'm an athlete. Don't be inspired because I got out of bed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fortunately, sometimes that's the attitude, is like, wow, you got all the way here and you're doing this. That's so great. And I'm like, thank you, but I still placed last. So thank you for feeling inspired, but be inspired by the person that won.
You just missed a chunk of the action, right?
Exactly.
Anyways, so I really appreciate the opportunity to have this little chat. It's of course it's a privilege, it's to be working with you, and just like your coach Ken, I am here to push you, and yes, just because I know what you're capable of. But in any case, I am glad to have been able to spotlight you in this little experiment. So thank you very much. Okay, I will see you on our next session. Sounds good?
See you on Monday.
Take care, Josh.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.